You're listening to Radio Kidnappers, the voice of Hawke's Bay. This is a programme called
The Wonderful World of Wardini Books. Maybe I'll change the name next week, just for variety.
Get everyone's what's going on there.
Yeah, what's happening here?
As we record this programme, it's pretty cold.
It's freezing, eh? But you're only in shirt sleeves. It's nice and warm in here.
I know, I was boiling a bit earlier, but now I'm a bit cold. And I was recording in here before you came. I could hear the old air conditioner coming through the headphones. I had to turn it off.
Oh.
And now I'm cold.
Now it's chilled down again.
Now it's chilled down a bit. But never mind, don't worry about me. No one else does.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got 3 more fabulous books to look at this week. And the first one is called Seahorses Are Sold Out.
Seahorses Are Sold Out.
Great picture on the front.
Brilliant. By Katja Gehrman and Constance Spengler. And it's a Gecko Press book. And in it is a little person called Mika. And Mika's dad is completely flat out with work. And Mika, I don't know if that's a girl or a boy, it doesn't matter. I'm going to call it a girl because I feel like it. And she says, can we go to the lake today? And Dad's like, no, I'm flat out busy, I can't. Can you go and amuse yourself? And then she sees an opportunity. Well, can I have a pet then? And he's just at the stage where he's going, anything, go down to the pet shop, get a nice small quiet one. So she goes down to the pet shop and she gets a mouse. And the guy at the pet shop rings her dad just to make sure that she's allowed to get a mouse. And Dad doesn't like being disturbed. Of course, Mika can have a mouse. Just sell the kid whatever and let me get on with my work. And on it goes. So she goes home and she's got the mouse and she's got all the gubbins for the mouse. And then she loses the mouse. Go and ask at the pet store, Dad says. They'll know what to do. And that's where she sees that there's a puppy for sale and she buys a puppy because then the puppy can find the mouse and play with the mouse. And so that happens and they have all this amazing fun. She tells the puppy to take good care of the mouse while she's asleep.
And guess what? I sense a menagerie coming on here.
There's a menagerie. And look at that. They've got the Fruit Loops or whatever they are, and the little mouses in the Fruit Loops. And Dad's saying, I don't think that dog knows how to use the toilet properly yet. So she's like, okay. So she goes back to the pet shop and she buys a seal. Because the seal can then supervise the bathroom and make sure everyone's peeing in the right place. And then, of course, the mouse doesn't want to swim, so they get a penguin and they get all sorts of other things, and it just escalates absolutely wildly. And Dad pops in occasionally to say, can you be quiet? I'm trying to get this job finished here. And eventually, the last thing to be bought is an elephant, a musical elephant. And on Sunday morning, Dad emerges and says, morning, Mika. I worked through the night and I'm finished at last. Today we can go to the lake. That's great. Can all my pets come? And Dad suddenly blinks and goes, oh, okay. I was a bit busy and I've ignored you and neglected you. But then they all go together to the lake and have a brilliant time. And if there's a moral of the story, I don't really know.
Yeah, but I sense there was going to be a moral, and that is, it's a bit like that song, Cats in the Cradle. Do you know that one?
Can you sing it for me?
Well, I could sing it for you, but I don't want to embarrass myself. Anyway, but so you should always make time for each other.
Make time for each other, absolutely.
Absolutely right.
But also, there wasn't any judgment of Dad, which I really quite liked, because sometimes things are really busy.
Absolutely right.
And that was a single parent,
yeah.
so, yeah.
And, sometimes life gets in the way.
Sometimes it does, and children go and buy seals and elephants from the pet shop, and that's just what happens. Yeah.
Tell us about Lockwood and Co.
Lockwood and Co. So this is the second book, The Whispering Skull. The first one was The Screaming Staircase.
Good
so
cover.
You get an impression of what Jonathan Stroud's amazing chapter books are. So they're sort of that intermediate age group. We sell them to kids of about 9 and up, but they are quite scary. And I've been rereading these to Gareth in the evenings. This is our sort of relax before you go to bed book, even though it's full of ghosties. Yeah. So the idea is that there is a ghost epidemic in Britain, and the children are the ones with psychic abilities. You lose your psychic abilities when you get to a certain age, and you might have a talent like you can hear the ghosts, or you can see them. You can see ghost mists and ghost lights and things like that. And there are many corporations set up, like big corporations run by adults that send children with these talents in to sort out ghost problems. But Anthony Lockwood has decided, for some reason, his parents are off the scene, and he's got this big old house in London, and he's got an independent ghost hunting company called Lockwood and Co. And he has George Cubbins, who is like the researcher guy. He does all the background, goes to the library and finds out what's going on with these hauntings and things that they're then going to go and sort out. And Lucy Carlyle joins the team, and she's the one that can hear ghosts. And in book 2, The Whispering Skull, they've always had this skull in a jar, and George is forever experimenting on it and trying to make contact with the other side and stuff like that. And the skull, it's got like this ectoplasm, and it pulls faces at them every now and again, but they can't get it to do anything. And in book 2, it starts to communicate with Lucy.
Oh.
And it's like, is the skull telling the truth about things, or is it being a complete git and trying to get them into trouble? Is it a malevolent spirit? And in this one, there is a glass mirror which they're trying to track down. A grave's been robbed, and this glass mirror that was invented by some guys like 200 years ago has got out and escaped into the wild. Not by itself, someone's stolen it. And the original grave robbers are now dead. They've turned up dead, and it's a really powerful ghostly object, and they're trying to track it down. And it's just one of those series that is peopled with incredible characters. You know, there's the nerdy one, there's the athletic one, there's the charming one, there's Flo Bones, who is a relic collector, a filthy young girl that sort of like scrabbles around in the mud of the Thames. And it's great to read aloud, actually, because you can put everybody's accent in it. Lucy's from up north, George is a right little Londoner, Anthony's a bit posh. You know, so it's been great fun reading it aloud.
Love it. I can't wait to see the movie. It would make a great movie, wouldn't it?
It would. I think there might have been talk of a movie at one point. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'd be very swashbuckling.
It will be. And our last one is Sinead O'Connor, a memoir.
Yeah, and we did comment on
fabulous photo.
Absolutely fantastic cover. So most people will be familiar with Sinead O'Connor, whether it's that amazing video for Nothing Compares to You, or when she burst onto the scene as an 18, 19-year-old with Mandinka and that first album that she did. And most people will know that she didn't come from a great background. So in and around Dublin in Ireland, and her mother was quite abusive and mad, you know, had some serious mental health problems, and was physically abusive to her and her 3 siblings. And so she grew up between mum's house, dad's house, Borstal. She was forever shoplifting. And then she went to a boarding school, and eventually she did fall in with really good musicians in Ireland and was offered a recording contract. It's almost like, you know, this crazy dream come true. But she has never accepted conventionality. She's always done things her own way. So they said, right, you've got this recording contract. You're going to need to wear a bit of lipstick and a skirt. So she shaved all her hair off. You know, she does give the literal and metaphorical finger to anybody that tries to tell her, this is the box I want to put you into. And she's always done that to her detriment, but she doesn't see it like that. No. There's a very famous bit that she tore up the photo of the Pope on Saturday Night Live in the US, and then I was like, your career is over. And she was like, well, I don't care. I just want to make music. I'm not doing the, you know, and turns out she was right. There was a lot of abuse in the Catholic Church. So she's really raw and honest, and the tone of the book is like it's called Rememberings, and she just takes an incident and writes it as she sees it and as she remembers it. And I feel that there's been very little tonal editing, so you really feel like she's just sitting with you. It's raw. And telling you. Yeah. And it's quite incredible, and she's quite funny. Tells you about her kids and the 4 different dads and who she's fallen out with and who she's still friends with. And now she's a Muslim living with her youngest son in Ireland, and having to go out on tour and release the book. She's got no money left. Right. Yeah. Who's going to read it? Is that a book that someone who is interested in the music world, or is that a book that anyone could pick up and say, wow, what a great story that was? I think anyone could pick it up and think, wow, this is true. This girl came from this and did this, you know, and the photos. I mean, what an absolute stunning human being. She is. And then, 18, recording contract, got pregnant, album came out, went on a world tour. You know, it wasn't stable to begin with. You can't get your head around it at all. No. And meeting Prince, she goes to Prince's house, and that's a bizarre experience. And she tells, like, you know, she had to run away and hide in the bush. It was just, Out of 10, what did you give it? 10 out of 10. It was absolutely fascinating. Yeah. All right, now, if we want any of these marvellous books, where do we get them? Wardini Books, please. Of course. Havelock North and Napier. Yes, please. My pleasure. Talk to you same time, same place next week. Cheers, Jen. Thank you.